Hello and welcome to Foundational Community Conversations. I'm Tiffany Young, Executive Director for the Hartford Yard Goats Foundation. Thank you for joining us as we close out Women's History Month and welcome special guest, Attorney Cheryl Sharp. Attorney Cheryl Sharp was appointed as the Deputy Director of the State of Connecticut Commission on Human Rights on July 4, 2014, and serves as the second in command in the oldest governmental civil rights agency in the nation. Prior to her appointment, she served as a litigation attorney with the CHRO's legal department for over 20 years. She represents the state in the prosecution of complaints of discrimination before the CHRO's Office of Public Hearings and in the state and federal courts. She represents the CHRO in Connecticut Safe Schools Coalition and the Connecticut Racial Profiling Working Group. She is a member of the Commission on Racial and Ethnic Disparity in the Criminal Justice System. She was a sitting member on the Legislative Fair Housing Choice Impediments to Fair Housing Task Force. Attorney Sharp authored an article, Sweet Land of Liberty, the treatment of Muslims in Connecticut through the lens of the Connecticut Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities, which was published in 2012 by the University of Connecticut School of Law's Public Interest Law Journal. She is also a member of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. Welcome, Attorney Cheryl Sharp. I am so excited to welcome our guest today as we close out Women's History Month, the amazing attorney Cheryl Sharp. Oh, we are elated to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do and how you impact this community.
Thank you. First of all, I'm honored to be here to have this discussion with you today. I am the Deputy Director and a Commission Attorney at the Commission on Human Rights and Opportunities. So I am a trial attorney, but I'm also responsible for education and outreach in the community. And through our education and outreach to the community, we do many programs that address civil rights atrocities that happen throughout our nation and some that happen within the state of Connecticut. We have children's programs. One of my interests is elevating the voices of youth. And so we have a program that Ray Thiesfield and I started when we were in law school called Kids Speak and Kids Court. And that program has gone on for 27 years, I think now, within the state. So we're really excited about that. We also have a new program called Kids Court Academy, and it's a social justice program where we have students come every 2 weeks and introduce them to case law, to judges, to attorneys. We're working with the Connecticut Bar Association on that program, Real Art Ways on that program. We have many other types of informational sessions we do in the community to make the community aware of our civil rights law enforcement work, our education and outreach, and our training. We do sexual harassment training that's been viewed by over 1 million people in the state of Connecticut. We have so many programs and so many federal and state and local non-governmental partners that we work with. And I'm from Hartford. I'm from the north end of Hartford, born and raised here in Hartford, Connecticut. I stayed local. I went to school here in Hartford. I went to UConn Law School and I went to Wesleyan for undergrad, and I got my business degree from Rensselaer. So I stayed here in Connecticut because I believe this is a special place, and I wanted to give back to the community from which I came. I wanted to have children see themselves in me, that they could possibly be an attorney one day, that they could be a professional, and their narrative did not have to be determined by the neighborhood that they came from. Because I had so many positive influences throughout my life, I wanted to be the same for young people as they were coming up. And so I ended up staying with the commission as well. We have a very lofty mission to eliminate discrimination in employment and in housing and in credit transactions and in places of public accommodations like stores and parks and police services. And so we have 27 protected classes like race and color and national origin, physical disability, mental disability, veteran status, and the list goes on. And all of those protections just keep me interested all of the time. Every day is different, whether it's trying a case or it's going out into the community and marching, like for our Children's March, where we're saying, let's elevate the voices of our youth, let's march and walk together for equity, equality, and unity. Every one of my days is different, so I just love it. I love what I do, I love being a part of this community, and I love being a part of the fabric of Connecticut.
Wow, you can definitely tell you become elated when you talk about the work that you do, especially the youth. But I have to ask, being a woman and
Yes.
a woman of power, in these spaces that you have to navigate, what are some of the challenges that come along with this?
So there are a lot of challenges. I think we have seen as a nation what some challenges are that we face as being in positions of power and being women and being a woman of color, because Ketanji Brown Jackson just illustrated for us the poise that you have to show when you're being questioned, when you're having questions directed at you that are very difficult and sometimes unkind and sometimes different from the norm. And that's one of the challenges, definitely, is that you have to remain poised no matter what. You have to remain poised when you're under attack. You have to be very, very familiar and knowledgeable about so many things. It's like you have to be an expert on things that you would have never thought that you would have to be an expert on. You have to anticipate the questions that you're going to be asked. You have to do a lot of research. You have to do a lot of reading. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, and you're always on. That's another thing. You're on in your professional life and you're on in your personal life, right? So when you go to the grocery store, you may not be able to wear, the sweatpants and t-shirt that you want to wear because you're always on. So those are some of the challenges, but every challenge is worth it because you're making an impact. You're changing the narrative. You're making closed eyes open up to who you are, your essence, and you're changing people's view of what a professional is. And I think that is like so exciting because that's where we're going to see some appreciable change in treatment. And so every day I accept that challenge. When I wake up, I have to tell you, I like jump up and I'm like, I have my dream job. This is like the perfect career for me. I am going to do something I enjoy today and I'm going to make a difference. Even if it's an incremental difference, even if it's a small difference, it's a difference nonetheless.
Wow, you are a true champion. Let me ask you, as a woman, do you feel that sometimes we have to work so much harder and there's so much more that we have to prove? And what do you say to young people who are watching you, right, and your success, which you make look so easy? And these young people who are one day actually going to make a print in history, going to make a mark in history. What words do you say to these young ladies?
Stay encouraged. Be a force to be reckoned with by being creative, being kind, being intelligent, being assertive, being unapologetically who you are. You don't have to apologize for being intelligent. You don't have to apologize for raising your voice, taking a stand, doing what's right, fighting for disenfranchised and marginalized people. You don't have to apologize for that. Stand in spaces and in places where you were once denied until you are accepted in a way that brings so many people along with you. And you can do it because women are smart. We're creative, right? We have to have a lot of ingenuity. There is another standard, right? And then when you have this intersectionality of gender and race, then you may have to even work harder to prove, and you should be proving it to yourself, right? Because you want to elevate yourself. Once you save yourself and elevate yourself, you will see that other women will fall in line, that other young women will fall in line, that young children will fall in line, and then you become the one carrying the torch that was once held by another strong woman that you looked up to, or another strong person that you looked up to. And now that torch is in your hand. Carry it with pride, carry it with your head lifted up, and make a difference in this world.
Wow, you know, you talk about being that force and being that power that influence others. But as we close, I have to ask you, what woman in history has been most influential for you?
Oh, that's so difficult because there are so many women who have influenced me and had such a great impact on me. I'm going to have to choose two. So historically, I would say Rosa Parks, because she came with that dignified, quiet strength and resolve and said, no, I will not give up my seat. And she changed history, right? Even though she did it as a part of a movement, she became the face of the movement in her time. I like that quiet resolve. I like the courage of a lion that's packaged in a dove, because it's unexpected, and you get a seat at some tables that you would not necessarily be able to sit at if you approached it in another way. So I liked her approach, I liked her impact, and I think that it has had rippling of effects across the world. So that's why she's definitely a CHRO to me. I have to say, Frances McAlpine Sharp, who is my mother, is also another CHRO. She taught here in the city of Hartford for 40 years, and I think that she instilled in me and in my brothers this sense of pride of being unapologetically who you are so that you can impact your corner of the world. So, and if I could just go down a list and just be able to say Sojourner Truth and Fannie Lou Hamer, and there are just countless numbers of women who have set the stage for us to do better.
And thank you for joining us once again for Foundational Community Conversations. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and remember, women are making history.